After 37 films, the Marvel Cinematic Universe reached a moment it could no longer avoid. What once felt unstoppable began to slow down. Audience excitement softened, reviews became inconsistent, and box office results turned unpredictable. At the same time, the franchise dealt with a public and complicated split from an actor who had once been central to its identity. For the first time in years, Marvel had to seriously confront the idea of superhero fatigue. Not because people stopped loving superheroes, but because the formula stopped feeling essential. In response, Marvel went back to its roots. Instead of chasing new concepts, it looked deep into its vast comic history and pulled forward one of its most powerful and complex villains, Dr. Victor Von Doom. Avengers. Doomsday is being positioned as a course correction for the entire franchise. Doom is not a typical villain driven by chaos or revenge. He represents control, intelligence, and consequence. And his full debut in Doomsday will determine whether the MCU can still attract casual audiences while re-engaging longtime fans who have been waiting for something with real weight. Still, a villain alone isn't enough to revive a cinematic universe that has earned more than $30 billion worldwide. Marvel needed a face that could instantly command attention, and they turned to the one actor most closely tied to the MCU's rise, Robert Downey Jr. When he was revealed on stage at San Diego Comic-Con in 2024, the reaction inside the hall was immediate and overwhelming. Studio executives later said he was the only person who could play the role. The applause was not just excitement, it was recognition of what Downey represents to Marvel. Having played Tony Stark in 10 films, Downey Jr. is a proven draw. His Iron Man trilogy alone generated over $2.4 billion globally, and for many viewers, he is synonymous with the Marvel brand. That's why his return as Dr. Doom, rather than Iron Man, sparked immediate debate. Some saw it as a bold creative decision, others as a sign Marvel might be running out of new ideas. Regardless of opinion, the casting guarantees attention, and Marvel knows it. Downey Jr. is also far from alone. The cast list for Avengers, Doomsday reads less like a movie and more like an industry roll call. Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Pedro Pascal, and Tom Holland are all involved, alongside Florence Pugh, Haley Atwell, Letitia Wright, and Vanessa Kirby. Add to that Sir Patrick Stewart, Sir Ian McKellen, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Channing Tatum, and it becomes clear Marvel is assembling every era of its storytelling into one project. As teasers for Doomsday began to drop, speculation grew rapidly. The film is set to release in theaters on December 18, and with a sequel already scheduled, Marvel is clearly framing this as a major event rather than a standalone entry. Even the marketing strategy reflects that intention, particularly through the now famous will return teaser endings that have taken over social media. The first of these confirmed that Steve Rogers would return. Chris Evans first appeared as Captain America in 2011's The First Avenger. And over time, Steve Rogers became the emotional anchor of the MCU's biggest films. However, since Avengers Endgame, the character has been absent. Steve chose a quiet life, traveled back to the mid-1900s, and finally danced with Peggy Carter. In the present day, an elderly Steve passed his shield to Sam Wilson, symbolically ending his journey. But the Doomsday teaser changes everything. Steve Rogers appears once again in his prime, not retired, not aged, but standing where Earth's mightiest heroes belong. In an even more surprising moment, he is seen holding a child, strongly implied to be his own. This immediately raises difficult questions about timelines, consequences, and sacrifice. If Avengers Doomsday brings a younger Steve Rogers back into the present, the story will have to explain what was given up to make that possible. The focus then shifts to Thor, whose story in Avengers Doomsday appears to be one of the most emotionally heavy. In the second teaser, Thor is shown alone, walking through what looks like a moment of reflection rather than battle. He kneels and prays to his father, asking for the strength of the All-Fathers so that he may protect his adopted child, Love. This is a very different Thor from the one audiences met years ago. The god who once charged into war without hesitation is now weighed down by fear and responsibility. Thor has lost almost everything: his mother, his father, his brother more than once, and most recently, Jane Foster, who passed into Valhalla. Loki continues to drift between ally and enemy, never fully gone, never fully trusted. Now Thor is facing something new: the fear of failing as a parent. His prayer suggests that whatever threat Doctor Doom represents, it is powerful enough to push a god to his knees before the fight even begins. That fear may connect to another ominous detail already planted in the MCU. At the end of 2025's Fantastic Four First Steps, Doctor Doom shows a clear interest in Franklin Richards, the son of Reed Richards and Sue Storm. Franklin is no ordinary child. In the comics, he is one of the most powerful beings in existence. With Steve Rogers now implied to have a child of his own, and Thor fighting to protect love, a pattern begins to emerge. Doomsday may revolve around legacy, offspring, and the next generation of power. If Doom is targeting children with extraordinary potential, the consequences could reshape the entire universe. Then comes the moment fans have waited decades for. The X-Men are finally entering the Marvel Cinematic Universe. After Disney acquired 20th Century Fox in 2017, the film rights to the X-Men returned to Marvel, but the studio chose to wait. Rather than rushing a reboot, Marvel held its mutants back until the timing felt right. Avengers Doomsday appears to be that moment. The teaser confirms the return of Professor Charles Xavier and Magneto, once again portrayed by Sir Patrick Stewart and Sir Ian McKellen. Their relationship has always been complicated, built on shared ideals that diverged into conflict. In Doomsday, they appear older, reflective, and aware that their time may be limited. They speak of death and legacy, themes that echo throughout the entire film. History suggests Magneto's internal conflict rarely ends quietly, raising the question of where his loyalties would fall if Doctor Doom were to offer him power or survival. Cyclops also returns, finally shown as an active and powerful presence, unleashing energy from his visor. Nightcrawler, played by Alan Cumming, and Mystique, portrayed by Rebecca Romijn, are also confirmed to return. And after his successful return in 2024's Deadpool collaboration, Hugh Jackman has proven that Wolverine still holds enormous appeal. Rather than introducing every mutant at once, Marvel appears to be carefully selecting fan-favorite characters to ignite its long-term X-Men plans. As Doomsday's release approaches, fake teasers, alleged leaks, and wild theories continue to spread online. Some fans believe another will return teaser is coming, possibly pointing toward Wakanda. Others speculate that Marvel is saving a major reveal for the Super Bowl on February 8, one of the most watched events in the world. The timing would make sense, especially with Spider-Man Brand New Day set to release earlier in the year. Tom Holland is confirmed to return as Peter Parker, with Spider-Man Brand New Day arriving in theaters on July 31. That film will likely set the stage for Doomsday's events, before the MCU's next chapter culminates with Avengers Doomsday in December, followed by Secret Wars in December 2027. The MCU has been searching for momentum since its post-Endgame peak. Fantastic Four First Steps helped restore some confidence by earning over $500 million worldwide, proving that audiences are still willing to show up when the story feels important. Now, with Spider-Man returning, the X-Men finally unleashed, and Robert Downey Jr. stepping back into the spotlight as a villain, Marvel is making its boldest move yet. Doomsday isn't just another sequel, it's a test. A test of whether legacy still matters, whether spectacle can carry consequence, and whether Marvel can once again make the world stop and pay attention.